sun started coming up through my kitchen window. She waited for maybe 30 seconds before grabbing her keys and saying she needed to go get ready, but I should text her whatever I decided. After she left, I sat at my laptop staring at our contract file with all the notes I'd been keeping for 3 months. There were pages of details about her family members and their quirks, inside jokes we'd created during dinners, screenshots from her mom's Facebook where she'd posted photos of us at family events looking happier than I remembered feeling at the time. My phone buzzed with a text from Kian saying he knew things were weird, but both he and Sasha really wanted me at the wedding and asking if we could talk. I deleted it immediately but took a screenshot first because something in my gut said I should document everything from here on out. The suit Renee had helped me pick 3 weeks ago was hanging in my closet, and I pulled it on just to see how it looked. She'd spent over an hour at the store making sure the fit was perfect, smoothing down the lapels and stepping back to look at me from different angles while telling me I looked like James Bond, then turning red when she realized how excited she sounded. My phone rang, and Marcus's name showed up on the screen. He said he didn't know what happened last night, but Renee hadn't been herself lately, and these past weeks with me were the happiest he'd seen her since she was a kid. Just thought I should know before making any decisions about today. After hanging up, I drove to the wedding venue, but parked across the street instead of in the actual lot. Guests were starting to arrive in fancy cars, and I watched from my driver's seat as a white limo pulled up, and Sasha stepped out in her wedding dress, looking perfect, and laughing at something the photographer said. The weird thing was, it didn't hurt the way I thought it would. More like watching a movie about strangers than seeing my ex who destroyed me. My phone lit up with a text from Renee saying she was at the venue and had told everyone I had food poisoning but might show up if I felt better. No pressure though, and she attached a photo of the place card with my name still sitting next to hers at the family table her mom had saved just in case. Through my windshield, I spotted Nathan in his tiny tuxedo, standing near the entrance looking around with his sad expression, while Grace bent down to whisper something to him. He shook his head and clutched the stuffed dinosaur I'd given him at his birthday party, the one he'd named Rex and carried everywhere now. My chest got tight watching this little kid search the crowd for me while wedding guests streamed past him into the building. Someone knocked on my car window, and I jumped hard enough to hit my head on the roof. Sasha stood there in her wedding dress with the fabric pooling around her feet on the asphalt, gesturing for me to roll down the window. When I did, she immediately launched into this speech about how she needed to explain about Kian and how it wasn't supposed to happen the way I thought it did. The thing that struck me wasn't what she was saying, but what she wasn't saying, because there was no actual apology in any of it, just her trying to control how the story sounded. I finally cut her off by asking how exactly it was supposed to happen then. She started fumbling with her words while adjusting her dress against the morning breeze. She managed to get out something about how they just fell in love, and it was messy, but real. Then she actually said she needed me to forgive them, so everyone could move forward. The way she said it made my hands tighten on the steering wheel. I told her I didn't forgive her and didn't need to. I said she made her choice, but this wasn't about her anymore. Her face went through about 6 different expressions before she asked why I was even here then. That's when it hit me exactly why I'd driven all the way here. I rolled up the window while she was still standing there and drove toward the venue parking lot. The ceremony was already starting when I walked through the heavy wooden doors. Every head in the back rows turned, but I kept walking down the side aisle. Renee's eyes went huge when she spotted me sliding into the empty seat beside her. I took her hand without thinking about it, not for show, but because I wanted to. She squeezed back so hard my knuckles cracked. During the vows, when Kian stood up there promising to be faithful, I felt Renee's whole body go rigid beside me. She leaned over and whispered we could leave if I wanted. I whispered back that we were seeing this through to the end. Elena was sitting on Renee's other side and gave me this small, approving nod. The reading started, and Nathan scrambled out of Grace's lap and climbed into mine instead. He started whispering about dinosaurs while the reader droned on about love and commitment. His little hands were making pterodactyl wings against my chest. This moment felt more real than anything I'd experienced with Sasha in our entire 2 years together. Renee was watching us with this look on her face I couldn't figure out. The reception moved to the ballroom next door, and we found our table assignment on the seating chart. Table 3 put us right with Sasha's parents, who kept shooting looks at me every few seconds. Her mom's mouth was this tight line while her dad wouldn't make eye contact at all. Renee handled their awkward questions like she'd been doing this her whole life, deflecting and redirecting with practiced ease. I focused on cutting Nathan's chicken into dinosaur shapes while he narrated an entire prehistoric battle. During cocktail hour, Kian cornered me by the bar while I was getting Renee a drink. He started with this whole speech about how we needed to clear the air between us. I set down the glasses and stood up slowly to face him. I told him we weren't bros and never would be again. I said he slept with my girlfriend while pretending to be my friend and there was nothing to clear. His face went red and he stepped closer like he might actually try something at his own wedding. Renee appeared between us before anything could happen. She told Kian maybe he should focus on his bride instead of harassing her boyfriend on his wedding day. The way she said boyfriend hung in the air because she didn't add the word fake in front of it. Kian backed off and stalked away while Renee's hand found mine again. Marcus caught up with me during the cigar break on the terrace after dinner. He lit his Cuban and started talking about how he and Elena actually had an arranged marriage at first. He said it took them 3 years to fall in love for real, but now he couldn't imagine life without her. He looked at me through the smoke and said, sometimes the best things start as business arrangements. We stood there watching the sunset while wedding music drifted through the French doors. Back inside for dinner, Sasha's maid of honor got up to give her speech about true love conquering all obstacles. She kept making these pointed looks at me every time she said the word obstacles. Under the table, Renee's hand found mine and held on tight. The maid of honor finally sat down after her speech, and servers started clearing plates while the DJ grabbed his mic to announce the bouquet toss. All the single women crowded onto the dance floor, except Renee, who stayed in her seat shaking her head until her sister Grace physically dragged her out there. Sasha stood at the front in her white dress, holding her bouquet and scanning the crowd of women behind her with this weird smile. She turned around and locked eyes directly with Renee, then spun back and threw the bouquet hard, like she was trying to knock someone out with it. The flowers sailed straight at Renee's face, and she caught them purely out of reflex to protect herself from getting hit. Sasha turned around with this nasty smirk and said loud enough for everyone to hear that maybe Renee would be next if she could find someone real. The whole room went quiet for a second, and I saw Renee's face go from shocked to furious in about half a second. Catching a bouquet out of self-defense while your ex-best friend throws shade at your wedding? Now that's a plot twist worthy of its own reality show. Someone call the producers because this reception just got spicy. She stood up suddenly and somehow had a microphone in her hand before I could even process what was happening. I reached for her arm to pull her back down, but she was already talking into the mic, saying she wanted to make a toast to her cousin Sasha. The room went dead silent, and even the servers stopped moving as Renee raised her champagne glass and said Sasha always got what she she wanted. She kept going, saying whether it was the promotion at their grandma's company, or the bigger wedding budget, or even other people's boyfriends. Gasps went through the crowd, and I saw Marcus sit up straighter, while Elena's mouth fell open in shock. Renee wasn't done though, and thanked Sasha because her choices had led Renee to me, to Alan. Sasha's face went completely white, and she tried to tell Renee to stop, but Renee kept talking into the mic. She said I had spent 3 months pretending to love her for money, only to discover what we had was more real than anything Sasha and Kian built on lies. The room exploded into chaos with people talking over each other, and Elena trying to stand up to restore order, while Marcus actually started laughing at the worst possible moment. Sasha's parents were demanding to know what was going on, and pointing at Renee while other relatives were pulling out their phones to record everything. I stood up and took the microphone from Renee's hand before she could say anything else that would make this worse. I told everyone she was right about it starting fake, but that watching Renee with her family and seeing her kindness and strength had made me fall for real. Then I turned to look directly at Sasha and Kian, who were both frozen in place, looking like they wanted to disappear. I thanked Sasha for cheating on me, and thanked Kian for being exactly who he was, because they both led me to find someone who actually fought for me. I turned back to Renee and said she fought for me even when she was scared of losing me, and even when I didn't deserve it. Sasha grabbed her bouquet from where Renee had dropped it and threw it hard at Renee's head, screaming that she had ruined the wedding. Renee caught it and threw it right back, yelling that Sasha had ruined my life first, so they were even. The two cousins started moving toward each other, and their parents had to physically hold them back while security guards in black suits rushed in from the lobby. 2 guards grabbed me and Renee by the arms and started walking us toward the exit, while the wedding guests were all standing and shouting. Elena followed us out, surprising me by how calm she seemed compared to the chaos behind us. She told us what we did was inappropriate, but then smiled just a little bit and said it wasn't undeserved since Sasha had always been a bully. She said she was glad someone finally said what everyone had been thinking for years before going back inside to deal with the mess. The security guards walked us all the way to the parking lot and stood there watching to make sure we actually left. Renee and I climbed onto the hood of my car, still wearing our formal clothes, and watched through the big windows as people inside tried to calm down. We could see Sasha crying while Kian tried to comfort her, and the DJ awkwardly trying to get people to dance again. Renee looked at me and asked if we were still breaking up a week after the wedding like our contract said. I didn't answer right away because honestly, I had no idea what to say or what I even wanted anymore. We sat there for another hour watching the disaster we had caused until security came out and told us to leave the property completely. The next morning, my phone was going crazy with notifications, and I had 47 messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Someone had posted the whole thing on TikTok, and it already had 2 million views with a caption about the bride's cousin exposing a fake relationship and affair at the wedding. Renee texted me that we were apparently